All right, let's talk some late night Eagles here. Welcome into Philadelphia Eagles Now. I'm Chase Sr. I'm sitting on my couch recording this show because I want to keep my eyes on this Phillies-Dodgers game. Of course, it's been a very frustrating NLDS for the Phillies, down 2-0 in the series, up 3-1 in the game right now. But that's why I am where I am right now. And by the time that you watch this video, probably going to know the end result of this ball game. Let's hope that the Phillies can stave off elimination. Philadelphia today getting some breaking news before playing the New York Giants on Thursday Night Football. Before we get into all of that, don't forget to hit that subscribe button for Eagles coverage, updates, news, reactions, every single day year-round. I want to make this the premier spot for Eagles coverage right here on YouTube. I think we've been able to do that. That's why the channel has grown as much as it has. And I'm going to be live for an Eagles-Giants watch party. So I hope to see all of the real ones there. So again, hit that subscribe button, support the channel. And look, I'm bringing you coverage all the time. It's past 11 p.m. Eastern time, and we're still talking birds here on a Wednesday night. Let's get to some Eagles injury news to start. They released their final injury report of the week in the lead up to that game against the Giants today. Calcaterra out with an oblique, so the Eagles are going to be without their backup tight end. Expect Cam Latu, Kylan Granson to get some opportunities there to back up Dallas Goedert, who's also been a little bit banged up with the knee injury that he's been dealing with. Calcaterra is a good pass catcher, not a good blocker. So I'm interested to see when the Eagles go 12 personnel, when they go heavy and look to run it, what type of personnel packages they use and which players they use without Calcaterra to try to get this ground game going. Of course, Saquon Barkley hasn't popped off yet. The Eagles are one of the worst rushing teams in football. After last year, they were the best. And this Giants team is one of the worst rushing defenses in the NFL. So a matchup to watch from a matchup perspective there. Landon Dickerson, the Eagles left guard, is out with an ankle injury. We saw against the Denver Broncos, he got rolled up on. And so there's some chatter that he could potentially miss some time and a couple of games. And I'm wondering, is this a blessing in disguise for Landon Dickerson? Because he has not been right all year. Hasn't been the same guy. And obviously, during that open practice at the Link during the preseason and in training camp, he hurt his knee. He got the knee procedure. He came back very quickly. Then he hurt his back. And this year, he's legitimately been one of the worst starting guards in football. And I just think that he needs time to get healthy, to get right. Because whether he's going up against a Chris Jones, he's getting dominated. Whether he's going up against these other interior defensive linemen, he is not faring well. I mean, he's gotten pushed into the lap of Jalen Hurts. He hasn't been the same player in the ground game. And I'm wondering here, too, if the Eagles put him on IR or not, or by design, he misses a few weeks as we're about to embark on week 6. Eagles have their bye week, week 9. They come out of that to play the Green Bay Packers. And so that's a way to let him rest potentially for the next month without putting him on injured reserve. And I wonder if the Eagles are going to go with some roster Tetris or roster management there with Dickerson. He is giving up the second highest pressure rate among guards in all of football. And the interior of this Eagles offensive line has not fared well this year. He has not been good. Cam Jurgens is struggling coming off that offseason back injury. Tyler Steen's been up and down, but for the most part, he's been pretty damn good. But I was looking at a chart today of the directions of where the Eagles run the ball, and they cannot find any success running behind the center position and running toward the left guard spot. And I'm not sure how much better it's going to get with Brett Toth, who's going to start at left guard now. And he's going to be starting against a Giants defensive front that is one of the best defensive lines in football. And they're doing something creative where Abdul Carter, who has the fastest snap to pressure time in the NFL, has been lining up over guards. Abdul Carter lining up over Brett Toth, that's a concern. And Toth did not play well against the Denver Broncos. So that's something else to watch out for on Thursday night. I think the Eagles win this game, but a way that they could lose it is if the Giants defensive line takes over and they dominate and the Eagles become so sloppy where they lose a turnover margin by multiple giveaways. And then elsewhere on the injury report here, Jalen Carter was a surprise addition to the Eagles injury report on this Wednesday. He is dealing with a heel injury. And as we know, going all the way back to training camp, he didn't start practicing at the start of training camp because of his shoulder. He is questionable in this game. And why this is big, when he got ejected against the Dallas Cowboys, Dak Prescott even said it. We saw it with our eyes. The Cowboys' offensive game plan changed. And they had success running it up the middle toward Jalen Carter because he's one of the best defensive players in football. Highly disruptive as a pass rusher and really good against the run. And opposing offenses plan to go away from Jalen Carter because of how good he is. So if the Eagles are without him, the Giants are going to try to exploit it just like the Cowboys did. And with the Giants right now, this is going to be Jackson Dart's third start. He started against the Chargers, beat the 3-0 Chargers at the time. Then last week, lost against the New Orleans Saints on the road as the Giants turned it over 5 times. They're without Malik Nabers for the rest of the year. Malik Nabers is a special wide receiver, one of the best wideouts in the game. Darius Slayton is also not going to play in this game. And I'm not kidding when I say this. The Giants have one of the worst wide receiver rooms currently in the NFL. And that is not a great way to support your rookie quarterback. And so what are the Giants going to try to do? They're going to try to run the ball. And Cam Scatterbo has been a really good player as a rookie. He runs physical and hard, and he can run in between the tackles. And then Tyrone Tracy, a second-year running back, is also going to play in this game. He's come back pretty quickly from a shoulder injury. And so if the Eagles are without Jalen Carter, look out for that as well. And that would be a huge loss for Philadelphia against the run, and obviously for him as a pass rusher. Second-team All-Pro last year, and he's emerged as one of the best defensive players in football. Nakobe Dean set the play against the Giants. I don't think he's going to get a lot of snaps because he hasn't really been able to do much, and I don't think that you should take Jahad Campbell and Zach Bond off the field because they've been one of the best linebacking duos in the NFL, but I imagine he gets mixed in there. And will Vic Fangio switch it up a little bit? Will the Eagles go traditional 4-3 to get Dean, Campbell, Bond on the field at the same time? Will he use Campbell and Bond as edge rushers, given the lack of pass rush production, to get Nakobe Dean on the field as an off-ball linebacker? I think that's a possibility. Saquon Barkley also going to play against his former team when he made his return to MetLife, heard some boos, and then had one of the best games of his career. And I hope the Eagles ground attack can get going. This is pretty interesting here, too. Could a signing be on the horizon? The Eagles worked out free agent pass rusher Drake Jackson on Wednesday, according to the NFL's official personnel notice. Drake Jackson was a second-round pick by the San Francisco 49ers out of USC in the 2022 NFL Draft. The Niners that year did not have a first-round pick because they traded it away to move up the year prior for Trey Lance, and obviously that move didn't work out for San Francisco, nor did the selection of Drake Jackson, who I liked him at USC, but he was a little raw. But as an athlete, he's long, he's tall. In 2023, the season opener for San Francisco, he had 3 sacks against the Pittsburgh Steelers. But for him, he hasn't been able to stay healthy. And he had a patellar tendon surgery last year for San Francisco, the same injury that Nakobe Dean had. For Jackson, he hasn't been able to come back off of it. For Nakobe, he got it in January, already back, and he's able to play in October. That goes to show you the incredible recovery for Nakobe Dean, but how complex this injury can be for others like Drake Jackson. And he has had 6 sacks in 23 games with San Francisco before that patellar tendon injury in November of 2023. Then he missed all of the 2024 season. Now, the Eagles aren't the only team to show some interest in him. He met with the Commanders, the Ravens, and the Jets. But with the Eagles putting Nolan Smith, Obu Okoronkwo on injured reserve, not really a shock that they have interest in adding pass rusher depth. This could be a good flyer to add to the practice squad to see if you can get anything out of him over the long haul, if you can develop him, if you can get him healthy, to see if he can end up being that player who he was at USC, who the Niners took in the second round. And Philadelphia obviously has had trouble generating pressure on the quarterback. They have 7 sacks this year. That's 27th, in the NFL. Their leading sack producer is Zadarius Smith, who they signed off the street after week 1. And so Jalix Hunt is improving, but he hasn't popped off. You have Zadarius Smith. Azeez Ojulari played well this past week, and I think he's obviously going to get some more snaps due to injuries there. He's going to play against his former team. Josh Uche has been a good rotational player. Patrick Johnson also in the mix. So we'll see if the Eagles add Drake Jackson as a flyer addition here. All right, just wanted to talk some late night Eagles here on this Wednesday, October 8th. Pass along some breaking news, some keys to the game, some matchups to look out for, given the impact that these injuries could have. I'll be releasing a video in the morning, how the Philadelphia Eagles can take down the New York Giants. Be on the lookout for that. I was joined earlier by Marshall Green, the host of Giants Now, and we did a preview, kind of taking a look at both teams from both sidelines. Excellent insight and analysis from both of us to give you more knowledge on the opposition. And then we'll be live for that watch party tomorrow, going live at 7 p.m. Eastern, an hour and 15 minutes before the game. Until then, I'll catch you then. Hit that subscribe button, and I'll see you soon.